Welcome to the show. Today we're going back to the first pages of the Bible, all the way to Genesis. And I know what you might be thinking. Garden fruit, snake, got it. But if you slow down and actually sit with the story, it doesn't read like a children's summary. It reads personal. It reads intense. It reads like it's describing us. Genesis opens with this staggering idea. Before anything existed, God simply was. No sky, no oceans, no sun. And then creation doesn't begin with God gathering tools or struggling against chaos like a craftsman who's short on time. It begins with a voice. God speaks, and reality responds. Let there be light, and light appears. With words, the emptiness gets filled. The disorder gets ordered. Life begins because God calls it into being. And then the story shifts from cosmic to close-up. Because when it comes to humanity, the language gets more hands-on. The text says God forms man from the dust of the ground and then breathes life into him. Think about that for a second. That's not distant. That's intimate. It paints a picture of a God who isn't just powerful, but present, close enough to breathe life into a creature made from dirt. Right away, you get the message that humans aren't random. We aren't a mistake. We aren't just another animal in a long list of animals. The story says we're made in God's image, designed to reflect something about him into the world. And then God places the man into a prepared place, Eden. Eden is portrayed like abundance on every side. Food, beauty, purpose, peace. It's the kind of setting where you can almost feel the ease of it. And in the middle of that freedom, there's one boundary, one tree that's not theirs to eat from. It's not a complicated rule book. It's one clear not that. In other words, a life of wide-open freedom with one line drawn to protect trust. But then something surprising happens. Even in a perfect world, there's a problem. The man is alone, and God says something that should make all of us pay attention. It is not good. Not good in paradise. Not good with perfect weather and perfect food. Not good because the human is made for relationship. So God creates woman, and the imagery is deliberate. She isn't pulled from his feet like she's meant to be stepped on. She isn't taken from his head like she's meant to rule over him. She's taken from his side, implying closeness and equality. Life shared shoulder to shoulder. When the man sees her, he responds like someone who finally recognizes what he didn't even know he was missing. It's joy. It's belonging. It's that moment of, yes, this is my own kind. And then we get this line that almost feels impossible to modern ears. They were naked and felt no shame. Not because they were clueless, but because nothing was fractured yet. No hiding, no performing, no fear of being exposed. Just the kind of openness we all want but rarely experience. True connection with each other and with God. And then the serpent enters. The serpent's approach is not loud. It's not violent. It's subtle. He doesn't begin by telling the humans to hate God. He starts by planting doubt about God's words and God's motives. He asks the question that has echoed through history in 1,000 different forms. Did God really say that? It's such a small sentence, but it's a match to dry grass. Because once you doubt the goodness of God, everything else starts to wobble. The serpent moves from questioning God's words to reframing God as someone who is withholding. And then comes the pitch, eat, and you'll be like God. In other words, you won't have to trust anymore. You can take the power into your own hands. That promise hits a nerve. The fruit looks good. It seems desirable. It feels like a shortcut to wisdom and independence. Eve eats, and then Adam eats too. And what's striking is how little resistance there is. No long debate. No dramatic refusal. He simply joins in. And in that moment, trust breaks. And immediately, the atmosphere changes. You can almost feel the temperature drop in the story. Their eyes are opened, but not in the way they expected. Instead of rising into freedom, they fall into self-consciousness. They suddenly feel exposed. They realize they're naked, and now nakedness doesn't mean openness. It means vulnerability. So they do what humans have been doing ever since. They scramble to cover themselves. They sew together leaves like a quick fix, like a homemade disguise. And if you've ever tried to cover shame with something fragile, an excuse, an image, a performance, a distraction, you understand how thin those leaves really are. Then God comes into the garden and calls out, "Where are you?" And that question is one of the most misunderstood lines in the Bible. God isn't asking for directions. He's not confused. He's inviting them to step out of hiding. He's giving them space to tell the truth. He's opening a door back toward relationship. But instead of owning it, they do something else that's painfully familiar. They blame. The man points at the woman points at the serpent. And the moment you start blaming, you're not just trying to avoid consequences. You're trying to avoid being known as you really are. The story doesn't pretend actions don't have outcomes. Consequences enter the world. Pain, conflict, frustration, and the reality of death. The harmony between humans and God, between humans and each other, and even between humans and the ground they came from, is now fractured, and they're sent out of the garden, away from that face-to-face closeness with God. But here's the moment that stops me every time. Even as God speaks consequences, He also shows mercy. Instead of leaving them with their flimsy leaf coverings, God makes garments for them from skins. He covers their shame Himself. It's a quiet act, but it's loaded with meaning. They can't fully fix what's broken, but God is already moving toward them with provision. And there's another line, almost like a note of hope planted in the wreckage. God speaks to the serpent and promises that a descendant of the woman will one day crush the serpent's head. It's brief, but it's massive. It's the first hint that the story won't end with failure, that the damage won't be the final word. That rescue is coming. So yes, Genesis begins with a tree, a temptation, and a fall, but also points forward. Many readers see the shadow of another tree in the distance, the cross, and the idea that what was lost in the garden is being pursued by God through redemption. And if you're wondering what any of this has to do with you on an ordinary day, just ask yourself, how often do we still do the same things? We doubt God's goodness. We reach for control. We hide when we feel exposed. We cover ourselves with whatever leaves we can find. We blame someone else because admitting the truth feels too costly. And yet the same question still echoes. Where are you? Not as condemnation, but as invitation. Not because God can't find you, but because He wants you to stop disappearing. That's the first chapter, and it's not just about the beginning of the world. It's about the beginning of the human heart. Thanks for listening, and we'll continue next time.